Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's webinar using TAB's new Reach and Frequency ADS module. My name is Larry Hennessy and I'm Senior Vice President of Member Services here at TAB. With me are two key members of our Member Services team, Marketing Specialist Nick Gercio and our Vice President of Member Communications Ian Knight. Also with us online is TAB's Training and Education Consultant, Enza Chiodi of Smart Media. Nick will start things off by reviewing with you some of the basics of Reach and Frequency. This will provide some context for the demonstration of the module that Ian will then provide. The module was just released yesterday, and we at TAB are very excited about Reach and Frequency now being available to all our members, particularly at the local level. Whether you're a buyer or a seller, you all compete either at the national and local level with media that have been using audience metrics to make their case. As I hope you will see, using these metrics yourself will enhance your ability to compete and provide more efficient and effective solutions for your clients. A bit of housekeeping before we begin. All microphones are turned off. We are leaving time at the end of the presentation for questions. Please type any questions into the chat box. We will answer as many as we can in our allotted time. Also, this webinar is being recorded and will be available later this week on www.tabonline.com. Nick, you want to start us off?
All right, thank you so much, Larry. As Larry said, I am Nick Gercio. I'm a marketing specialist here at TAB. But before I pass it over to Ian to actually show you the module, I wanted to take a few minutes and talk a little bit about reach and frequency, what they are, what they're used for, etc. So I'm going to take you through a couple of slides here, and then, like I said, I'm going to swing it over to Ian so he can actually show you the tool that is now available to you. Okay, so let's start here. Let's start with reach and frequency itself. Okay, these are relatively new terms for our industry, so I'm going to go ahead and define them and get that out of the way, and then talk a little bit more about what they're used for. Okay, so reach is defined as the number of different persons in a defined market who notice an advertising message at least once during a defined period of time. Reach is often expressed as a percentage of the market's population. Okay, frequency, on the other hand, is defined as the average number of times an individual notices an out-of-home advertising message during that defined period of time. Okay, so an important note here with both of these metrics, as well as all of the metrics and TAB out-of-home ratings, all reach and frequency metrics used in the system only include people seeing advertising. Okay, so other media only offer opportunity to see measures here. So just as a point of comparison, if you have, if the campaign you're offering or campaign you're buying has the same reach and frequency as that of another media, it is already outperforming theirs. So that's, I think that's important to note up top. Another note about impressions in general. Sometimes when we talk about impressions, we have, we'll say, we're reaching this many people or et cetera. But, to be precise, impressions are the duplicated sum of times people who pass an out-of-home unit are likely to notice the advertisement. So reach excludes the duplication inherent in impressions and rating points. So with reach, everyone who notices advertising is counted once and only once. Let me repeat that. With reach, everyone who notices advertising is counted once and only once here. Okay. So what are these measures used for? Reach and frequency are used to set and deliver media goals pertaining to how people are exposed to a message and how many times this audience is exposed. So let me give you a quick note about set and deliver. Okay, there are two tools available through TAB out-of-home ratings that allow reach and frequency to be examined on a scale that matters most to the user. So we have market average reach and frequency. And this is used by media planners to set goals in a market and is derived from average schedules in that market across vendors. By unit reach and frequency is primarily used by buyers and sellers to assess the specific value that actual schedules or actual campaigns deliver. Here is a quick breakdown of who offers what. You could see that the IMS system only offers market average reach and frequency metrics. Telmar offers both planning level and buying level information. We now have buying level reach and frequency information in our system, and of course other systems, other third-party suppliers have access and are providing panel by panel reach and frequency as well. Okay, so just to illuminate this a little bit, I have a chart here that could show you the principle I'm talking about. You could see, we have some some posters in the Atlanta DMA with various demographics. You see these dotted lines here are market average, information and the reach and frequency for the various demographics. And you can see how by buying and optimizing, you can outperform that planning level data by actually selecting specific schedules in a market. So there's a little bit of a kind of can show you the principle and effect there. Okay, so with TAB out-of-home ratings, it is possible to understand the dynamics of how reach and frequency grow in a curve over time, as it should. You can see down here, unique people seeing an advertising message grows faster towards the beginning of a campaign and ends up tapering off as, and then frequency grows. You can see how reach and frequency are affected by the geographic dispersion of units and campaign length, and how reach and frequency contribute to out-of-home and multimedia campaigns. Now, it's important to note that as an industry, we've sold the strengths of reach and frequency for a long time now. We just have never had the actual metrics to back it up. We've sold the principle of how we're a high frequency medium, we're a very pervasive medium, et cetera. Now it's great that we have the actual metrics to be able to back those assertions up. Okay, so I'm sure that there are many of us out there who have heard about reach and frequency and metrics like that, and have heard that being used on the national sales side or in larger buys. One of the messages that I want you to take away before I pass it on to Ian is that these metrics are very powerful in sales of all types. And we strongly encourage everyone to be including reach and frequency in all of the metrics in TAB out-of-home ratings and all of your proposals across the board. So, and there's a few reasons for that. And the first I'll say is that it's sort of it's one of the figures and sets of metrics that allows us as a medium to move beyond the simple functions that we've been considered for in the past, and moving towards that function that this whole rating system was started for, which was to be a true advertising medium with real media goals that could deliver an audience and could deliver specifics about that audience. So we're talking about the ability here to deliver true media goals and extend the function of the medium beyond those that obvious value of that near store presence or that directional use. Also, reach and frequency helps illustrate the power of out-of-home to reach an audience in a market more efficiently than other local media. So, in terms of competing with other local media, these are important metrics that they've had for a long time now that we're able to present and show and outperform across the board. So, third, data standards and building campaign history. I think this is about establishing norms among your client base, among your clients, among advertisers you may represent if you're at an agency, to have an understanding of how out-of-home is working for them and in true media language, and establishing a base of expectation for which people that in this medium can deliver and hopefully over-deliver or outperform. And finally, and this is an important one as well, it's also it allows you to show value where non-members cannot. I mean, this is another example of something that you can, another story or set of stories you could tell about your inventory that someone who is not measured, who isn't audited can tell. So we encourage you to tell that story. We encourage you to do that. So finally, I'm going to just take you through one more slide here real quick, and then I'll give it to Ian so that you can actually see the tool that we've built that allows access here. We get several questions. We've been getting several questions about reach and frequency. One of them is a good question. It's a question we like to get because it shows that people are looking forward to using this information and have a willingness and optimism about them, which is that the question being, what would be considered high reach? What would be considered high frequency? When do I know that I have something that I should be looking forward to presenting? And there is no simple answer there. Unfortunately, there is no one-size-fits-all answer. I can't give you a number, in other words, that would be considered high reach or high frequency. Our reach and frequency system is sensitive to a lot of things, which is a good thing. Those things included in those things are market selection, the type of market you selected, as well as the market itself, the demographic selected, the actual format and attributes of the individual pieces of inventory in the campaign, including all of those visibility attributes, including the road it's on, the time frame of the campaign, and also the geographic dispersion of the inventory and the audience's travel patterns that are actually seeing that advertising. So that's a lot of factors. There's a lot of different answers to the question, what's good reach, what's good frequency, and then also it also depends on the client's goals as well. I can tell you though that there are good ways to go about finding benchmarks, and one of them is by comparing a schedule's delivery to that of the market average. So as I mentioned before, there are tools that allow you to do that for you. You could do that yourself by simply running a few campaigns that you may have sold in the past and seeing what the average reach and frequency is for that. You could also compare to other local media. But you can see here at the bottom of this slide, what I've done is I've just gone into IMS and I pulled in the Chicago DMA males 25 to 54 for 100 GRPs a week over 4 weeks, and we've got a really good understanding of what we can expect that reach and frequency to be. So on average, it's going to be 50% reach with a frequency of 8.2. It's going to take 24 panels, and it'll cost about $175K. So that would be a great starting point in terms of expectation between you and your client for what you could be delivering or should be delivering with your campaign. And when you go into this system, you would be able to select panels that reach that or outperform it. So the system itself, though, I'm going to let Ian show you, and I'm going to pass that over to him now. Like I said, we obviously you're going to have questions about this. We're going to be able to answer those for you after Ian shows you the tool itself. Okay? All right, Ian?
Thank you, Nick. What I'd like to do for you now is to take you through a quick demonstration of the reach and frequency module that's now available through the ADS system on tabonline.com. This is available to all TAB members. Let me take you here. Now, if you log on to the ADS system, it'll take you to a logon page here where you can either log on to the audience delivery system or the reach and frequency module. If any of you are listening and you don't have a username and password, or you've forgotten what your username and password to the ADS is, you can just get in touch with us and we'll set you up with username and password. Just so you know, you can access both the audience delivery system and the reach and frequency module. They're connected sites, but they actually operate separately, but it's easy enough to toggle between the two once you log in. So let me just log in here. And this will take you to the reach and frequency module. As I said, it's very easy to toggle between that and the ADS. You can just click on the Switch to ADS button in the upper left-hand corner if you want to use the ADS system. So the reach and frequency module basically is designed to allow you to put together a plan and look at the different reach and frequency metrics for that plan. You can start a new plan by clicking the New Plan button here. it takes you automatically to a new plan here. And what are we talking about when we are talking about a plan? A plan is basically comprised of a set of panels, which represents your campaign. And we define it by the market you're in, by the demographics that you're trying to reach, and by the campaign length. We also have an option to put in a cost set for your plan. So the way that the module is set up, basically you can go through these tabs here from left to right to set up your plan. So let me just demonstrate by starting selecting the market. For our example, let's just take a look at the Chicago DMA. And when this is done, we can actually compare this plan to the market averages, which Nick had shown in his last slide, just to give you an idea of the wealth of information that the new reach and frequency module provides. So once you've selected your market, you go ahead and select your demographics from the second tab here. Per Nick's example, he was illustrating adults ages 25 to 54 and males. So I'm just going to add that to my demographics here. And just for comparison purposes, I'll also include all people 18 plus. And we want all adults 18 plus here. So having selected your market and your demographics, the next tab here allows you to select which plan columns you want reported when you actually run your plan. These are basically the metrics that are available in the reach and frequency module. Nick covered some of these, but I'll just go through them really quickly so you know what the definitions are that we're talking about. This first metric is in-market impressions, which is just the number of times that people living in a specified market notice the ad or ads. This is impressions, which includes duplication. So if one person sees your campaign more than once, that's counted as many times as it's seen. And these are in-market, which means that they exclude people who are traveling into or through the market but don't actually live in the market. The second metric here, in-market target rating points, or TRPs. This is a one-week number expressing the in-market impressions as a percentage of the market population. In-market percent reach, as Nick had mentioned, this is the percent of the target population who notices an ad message at least once during the length of the campaign. And the in-market reach, as opposed to the percent reach, this is the actual number of individuals living in the market who are reached. In-market average frequency, this is the average number of times anybody living in the market notices an ad over the length of the campaign. The planned TRPs is basically the same as the in-market TRPs, except in-market TRPs is a one-week number. So the planned TRPs expresses the TRPs over the full length of the campaign instead of just 1 week. And finally, at the bottom here, we have cost per rating point and cost per thousand. These are used in the cost set information, where cost per point is the cost associated with achieving 1 rating point in a specific market, and cost per thousand represents the cost per 1,000 impressions delivered by the campaign. Now, if you have any questions about these definitions, or you want to look them up actually, you can get that information by clicking the Get Help icon here at the top of the page. That takes you to a help menu which has a glossary, and it also has useful information that you can use to guide you through using the reach and frequency module, and also the ADS system. So this is a useful resource. If you have any questions about using any of this, it can help to guide you through that. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to include all these plan columns so we can see the information that comes out at the end. So having selected our market and demographics, you now have to select which panels you want to include in your plan. There's 4 different ways that you can put together a panel set. Optionally, you can select the units from the bottom here. This is set up rather similarly to the ADS, where you can select a filter, perhaps look up a unit number that you want to include, and then you can select the units that you want. Over on the left here, you see here I have 3 panels selected, and if I save this as a panel set, it'll use that in the plan. A few other ways that you can select your panels. You can actually, if you have a spreadsheet with the panels you want, as long as you have the tab panel IDs, you can import that directly into the reach and frequency system here using this section here. And you can even, if you've run a report on the ADS, you can port the panels in that report directly into the system. These are really helpful, useful ways that you may want to use. I'd like to show them to you, but first I'd like to show the demonstration of the module itself, and we can come back and I'll show you how you can import the information from a spreadsheet or from the ADS system. But for now, we actually have set up an example here. You see, if you actually already have a panel set saved, you can select those panel sets. And what we have here, we put together just for the purposes of this demonstration. We took a look in the Chicago market and selected a random set of bulletins that index highly for the composition of males 25 to 54. That was the example that Nick gave in the market average section. So by choosing this panel set, we're just going to take a look, and you'll see how we can compare the results of your campaign to the market averages. So I'm just going to select this Chicago panel set. And once it loads, it'll let us know. Okay, successfully assigned, and you see here we have 20 panels selected. Going to the next tab here, cost set information. This is optional. You don't need to have the cost set in order to run reach and frequency in the reach and frequency module. TAB doesn't have any cost information on our website, so this would be something that you may want to put your own cost information in here, or you may put whatever cost information you have available to you. Basically, this allows you to translate the campaign delivery and all the metrics of reach and frequency into actual cost information and cost per point information to evaluate the cost per the audience that's being delivered. You'll see in a moment when we run this plan that information will be listed out. So for the purposes of this demonstration, we actually have a cost set here, and we just imported this cost set directly from the numbers available in IMS and Telmar for the demos that we selected for the Chicago DMA. So I'm just going to add this to our demonstration. Okay. So having selected your market, your demographics, your panel set, and optionally your cost set, the next step is to generate the plan. So you can enter in any plan title that you want, and you can enter in a description optionally if you want to give yourself a little reminder of what was going into that plan. When you click the Generate Plan button, this will take you directly to the plan information, like so. And what this gives you here now in the View Plan area is this has the panels that I've selected and the metrics that I've selected. So here we see each panel of the 20 panels in our selected panel set, and we have the metrics listed out for each panel individually. And then at the bottom of this grid, in this row here called Plan Totals, we also see the total campaign delivery. Now, it's important to stress that the metrics listed for the individual panels are not additive to get the plan total. So you can't just add these and calculate the plan totals. Because of the many different factors that Nick had mentioned, which go into calculating reach and frequency, the totals actually depend on the specific panels that you include. So you may have two similar panels in terms of the numbers for each one, but you're going to get a different reach and frequency depending on the different factors that go into it. Now what this means is that if you want to actually report campaign delivery, you really do have to use this reach and frequency software, either in our system or in another system that supports tab at-home ratings. So let's take a look at the results that we have here for this particular 20-panel campaign. Here we have numbers listed for adults 18 plus. Let's say we wanted to take a look at the demo that we were looking at, which was males 25 to 54. You can toggle between demos up at the top of the screen here. And here you can see that we've actually selected panels that equal 100 weekly TRPs for males 25 to 54. So what are the results that we get here? We see that these units achieve a reach of 55.3% over 4 weeks, over a 4-week campaign, and an average frequency of 7.2. And what's exciting about this tool, now that we can put in these panels and get actual results of the campaign itself, we can compare these results to market averages and really see how this campaign does at meeting the campaign goals. So, for example, this campaign, if you compare it to the market averages that Nick had indicated, over 4 weeks, the average is a 50% reach, and this is achieving a 55.3% reach, so it's slightly above the market average. Whereas frequency, the average for males 25 to 54 for the market was listed at 8.2%. Here it's a little bit lower at 7.2%. So you're really getting real information that you can tailor to the needs of a particular campaign. Also, it's interesting to note that we were able to achieve these 100 TRPs for males 25 to 54 using just 20 bulletins, whereas, as Nick had mentioned, on the market average to achieve that level of exposure is 24 units. So in this case, we were able to achieve that with a little bit less inventory. But really, all that depends on the units which are being selected. So any one of the results that you're seeing here is sensitive to what's being included in the campaign. And a good way to illustrate that is using the system after you've run the plan. You're able to make adjustments to it. So, for instance, let's say I want to add a panel to see the impact on the plan. You can do that by clicking Add Panels, and it'll take you again to the screen where you can select units. And let's say you know a unit that you want to add. You could select your filter and enter the unit number that you want to include. Now, I happen to know what I want to include here. If you click Apply Filter, oops, I guess I don't. There we go. That's what I wanted. So if I wanted to add a panel to the plan here, you select that and you click Add Panel. And here you see now your grid updates with that additional panel included. So we see that the reach goes up from what it had been. Now the reach is increased to a 4-week 61.7% reach, and the frequency bumps up as well to 7.7. And you can also remove panels. Let's say you want to see the varying impact of what's being included. So in order to remove panels from this grid, you select the box on the left-hand side, and you can make those changes on the fly here. And the corresponding results are shown on the plan totals on the bottom here. All this depends entirely on which panels you're choosing. So you can you can really there's an awful lot of flexibility here. Also, another nice feature which is new to the ADS system is not only can you make adjustments to a plan after you created it and saved it, you can also save those changes. So if I click Save Plan, I can overwrite the original plan with these changes, or I can even save it as a new plan. So if I click Save Plan As, again, I can name this whatever I want here. And you can revisit your saved plans in the reach and frequency module in the My Plans section here. So if you go to My Plans, clicking the button on the left, your plans will be saved, and you can go back and open them up, and you can edit them as you wish. So that's a nice, convenient feature that we've added here. I'd mentioned that you can also include cost information. You can see that over here on the right-hand side of the screen. And so what this allows, in addition to allowing to see total campaign delivery in terms of the reach and frequency metrics, you can also see the information translated into delivery by cost and cost per point for the entire campaign. Additionally, you have the option in the module of adjusting cost information for individual units once you've run the plan. So there's an awful lot of adjustability here. For example, if you want to adjust your campaign length, it runs automatically to 4 weeks, but let's say we're talking about an 8-week campaign. You can simply type that in at the top of the screen, and that updates the campaign length, and all of the metrics at the bottom are adjusted concurrently. You can also, let's say you want to put in particular units are running for a different length. You can adjust that individually, and again, all of your results are updated automatically. So one final feature I'll mention after you've run a plan, you can modify demos using this button up on the top left, and that basically operates the same way that we'd seen before when we selected demos. You can add demos as you go into a plan. So that basically concludes my demonstration of how the reporting system here in reach and frequency works. I'd mentioned that I wanted to cover a couple of convenient ways that you can import panel sets. I'm sure that many people will find this convenient as opposed to going through and individually clicking panels. So for starters, if you happen to have a spreadsheet which has your panels that you want to include in your plan, as long as you have tab panel ID information, you can pull that directly into the reach and frequency module. In order to do this, you basically have to just list the tab panel ID information and save it as a CSV file, and that can be directly ported in. So just to demonstrate really quickly, here we have the same 20 panels that we had pulled for our report previously. All I need to do is remove the information except for the tab panel IDs. I'll just demonstrate that here. If I delete these additional columns and take our panel IDs, you don't want to have a column header either here because that can cause an error in the system. And now if you have this in an Excel spreadsheet, you can save this as a CSV file by going to Save As and basically select it. Instead of an Excel workbook, you save it as a CSV file type like that. Once you save that, you can import it directly into the reach and frequency module. So if I go to a new plan and select the Chicago DMA, you'll see that going to the panel section, I can now click Choose File here and select our CSV file here. You see this is a comma-separated values file, and import that into the system like so. And here we have our 20 panels that we have selected. The other option I mentioned, if you happen to have run a report on the ADS, there's a button now that you can send those panels directly into the reach and frequency module. I'll just demonstrate that very quickly here. In the My Report section, when you've run a report for the ADS system, you can view the report by clicking this link in the completed report section, and this will give you your panels. And you can select individual panels from within that report, or you can select all the panels by clicking the top left box here, and then clicking the Save Selected Panels as a panel set. You can name your panel set and import it into the Chicago DMA as we had shown previously. So these are just some of the features which we have available now on the reach and frequency. These are the basics. If you have any questions, as I'd mentioned, I recommend that you go and check out the help section. The Get Help section will have a lot of answers to your questions, and you can always get in touch with us. Any one of us will be able to help you, but if you contact Velvet Ross, here's her contact information. If you have any questions either about reach and frequency itself or about how to use the module, she'd be happy to direct your questions. So that concludes the demonstration, and Larry, I'll turn it over to you to answer any questions.
Sure. Sure. If you have any questions, please type them into the questions box. We have a couple, so I'll start as you're doing that. First question is, will you address any adjustments necessary to these RNF metrics with digital panels with 6 to 8 ads in rotation, or do they apply to statics? Basically, we are actually, currently they're handled as static, but that's going to be changing. We just got approval recently on doing some digital specific research that by the end of the year, or first quarter 2014, there will be individual RNS for each of the ads in a digital rotation. Okay, next question. Do the plans expire in 24 hours like the ADS reports do? The answer is no. Ian, you want to take that?
Yeah, this is a very nice new feature that we have. Your plan is saved onto the system, and you can access it at any time. Not only can you access it, but you can modify it, you can add panels, change panels, and you can save it as a new plan. So as you saw here, I took one plan, made some changes, and saved it as a different plan. And now we can access both of them. After 24 hours, they'll still be online. The ADS system still has the 24-hour reporting system, but anything that you run in the reach and frequency module, you'll be able to access it at any time.
Next question is, what are the formulas you use to get your reach and frequency numbers? Actually, that's
reach and frequency. Yeah. Well, let me jump in there. There's an awful lot of information that goes into calculating reach and frequency. As we mentioned, it takes into account geographic dispersion. It takes into account where people are coming from and going to, who are driving past the units in a campaign. So there's no simple answer. This was all done as a result of a lot of research computing literally millions of trip paths across the United States to determine this information, and then we boiled this down into a system where you can actually take all the different possibilities and see the result for each individual campaign. So it's not like there's a typical equation that we can list. It actually takes into account all this information for individual campaigns.
Yeah, this is Nick here. I'm glad this question was asked because we've heard a couple of instances of people trying to do this on their own. There's a very complex algorithm here that takes into consideration the audience duplication from one board to another. So actual, source audience for each in the specific audience of each panel is considered in this. To be able to do this, I mean, if you know Stephen Hawking, that would be, your first option. But you really need a system to be able to do it. And like Ian said earlier, reach and frequency are not able to be added to each other. These things need to be run in reach and frequency systems to get these figures.
Okay, the next question is, how do you select the outdoor cover? I guess that's a technical question for the system.
Yeah, when you're selecting panels, there is an option. You can filter by a specific operator within a market. So it works fairly similarly to the ADS system if you're familiar with that. I guess I can demonstrate that very quickly here. If we go to put together a new plan, if you're actually selecting your panels, go to Chicago here, you're saying. Bear with me. So if you're selecting panels from the grid here, you can still search panels by plant operator, and that will filter your panels, and then you can look for your unit through here. Or you can do it using the ADS system. If you already put together an ADS report, as we mentioned, you can port that information directly over. So there's multiple ways to select for a specific plant operator. I think many people will find it useful to upload the spreadsheet and have that information available as well.
Okay. Let's see. The next question is API tools. Can we use the data in our current site with our own layout flow? If so, what data is available?
You can actually export these plans when you run them. It's not something that we mentioned during the demonstration, but some export options are going to the My Plans. Here you see these two plans. You can download this as a PDF, or you can also export it to an Excel file. So if I take this, you can see here, this is all the information that comes out into a downloadable format, and that may give you one option in terms of loading it into another system. I don't know exactly how you would set it up for your system that you're specifically asking about, but the data is available.
Yeah, this is probably a data access and data integration question, which Sean McCarthy over here works with all of our members that seek to access this information through the cloud and integrate into their system. And so he can help you with that. His email address is Sean McCarthy, S.McCarthy at tabonline.com. So you can email him about that.
Right. Next question is, can you export plans to Excel?
Oh, you can. If you were here 30 seconds ago, you can export the plan to Excel using the My Plans feature. And you can also print the plan out. Here there's a very convenient print feature if you want to put this onto just a hard copy. You can also export it as a PDF, which is another convenient way to move it around.
Can you assign the costs on an individual basis on the plan level, or do they need to be added as a CSV? It could be.
Yes, the cost information can be assigned on a panel-by-panel basis. So that information would be, once you've actually run the plan, you can insert cost information to overwrite what's already listed.
But that, like you said, that will be on an individual panel-by-panel basis. There is no way, it appears, to just go in and edit the total cost after the fact, at least in this setup.
Right. This is set up in order to the information based on audience. So what you see here is actually it will give you all your audience metrics here at the bottom, and it will give you the similar ratings information in terms of the cost set.
Yeah, and these cost sets can vary by the different audience. Here, as you can tell, we have two different cost sets preloaded here for these two different demographics. But once again, you could set these costs however you want and at whatever level you want. There is no automatic cost sets preloaded into this system. That's just a feature for you and for to do that yourself.
Why couldn't we just use the Excel format to save to CSV?
That's actually, the CSV is a universal format, so it's a very simple data format which is that works across different platforms. Not everything is running on Excel, and as you know, there's different versions of Excel. So basically, any spreadsheet software is going to be able to convert to a CSV, and that allows you to have access to the reach and frequency module using any particular format.
Is your reach and frequency similar to time or will this be a different number?
Yeah, the reach and frequency is calculated exactly the same. Now, there's a quick note about that. Telmar provides two different reach and frequency tools. They have a planning level one, which this will not be the same as, but they also have panel-by-panel reach and frequency information, and this would be the same as that. So.
When will transit numbers be released? Yeah, we're going to start releasing them in a soft release in August. There'll be 11 markets that will be released at that time, and more will be released by the end of the year, and will go live basically in first quarter 2014 with as many markets as we get support for. Okay, does this take into effect the possibility of a vendor's sold units while you were building a plan?
This literally is what you see is what you get set of information. So whatever units that you have included here, it's just going to give you the output for that specific campaign. So regardless of what's available or unavailable, this is just telling you if you're looking at this set of units over this campaign length, these are the resulting ratings metrics and the reach and frequency, et cetera, et cetera. So that's not taken into consideration.
Okay. Could you import the units of the plan with cost figures?
That's not currently a feature for importing cost information by panel. If there's demand for that, we can look into that, but currently that's not built into the reach and frequency module. Can you have multiple markets on a plan? Plans are reported by market. So if you look at the new plan here, you literally can only select one market to run the plan. So if you're looking at a different market, that is going to give you different information. And the reason that this is important is because reach and frequency are metrics which are only considered within a specified market population. So it doesn't include, if we're talking about Chicago, there may be people that are traveling through the Chicago DMA that are from neighboring DMAs, but reach and frequencies literally market specific. So in these cases, if you're looking at multiple markets, they do need to be looked at individually.
Okay, I guess we have time for like 2 more questions. Can we show duplication numbers between 2 or more panels?
The actual numbers that are behind the reach and frequency aren't available, but we can show the requisite effect of that. I mean, what you're able to view here is the effect of panels duplication in the figures that are reported, and ultimately in the reach and frequency. You don't have direct access to all of these points of data that go into the calculation of reach and frequency, including source areas and all these other things. But
although,
you can see that
you do have information on duplication on panel-by-panel basis, because you at least get the information over the length of the campaign for each panel what the duplication is. That's represented really in frequency. So depending on
yes. Okay. So if that's a frequency question, the answer is yes. I thought the question was, can we see in terms of numbers the overlapping of audiences between panels? I mean, some sort of figure number or
yeah, that's baked in. That's not something that's easy to pull out here. Yeah.
Is there a sort function in the plan grid?
That's a good question. Let's take a look and see. What I am seeing here, I don't see a sort function in the plan grid. Obviously, if you export it to Excel, you can use the sorting functionality of the Excel system. But basically here, this comes out in a standard report here where there's no sort for the different information. That's a good question, certainly. But for the time being, I would recommend using Excel to if you want to take a look at these numbers in terms of a panel-by-panel information sort.
Okay, that's all the time we have for questions today. There are several that we weren't able to get to. We'll try to respond to those individually, to you individually after the webinar. Apologize, I guess there was some technical issues with static. I hope you were able to hear the last few questions. But in closing, I'd just like to say please use the system, and please let us know any questions or issues that you come up with when you do, so we could try to make it better and try to provide proper education and training for you moving forward. Thank you. This concludes the webinar. I appreciate your time.